Laplace's request was met with nods of approval from Benimaru and the others. His gestures toward us all were so determined, I suppose it tugged at our heartstrings. Right. Then we'll head over with the 6 of us as planned and rescue Yuuki. Sounds good. Let's save that bum so he can give us a proper apology. Benimaru was certainly motivated. Of course, this is Yuuki we're talking about. Knowing him, I'm pretty confident he'd beat Damrata and emerge without even a scratch. The real problem is how to deal with Velgrynd, though. But just as I was about to offer some instructions about that, Shion surprised me. So this Kondo man is the mastermind behind all this. If he's capable of controlling the likes of Kigali, then perhaps Clayman was being controlled, too. We all fell silent. Benimaru was frozen in surprise, while Laplace just muttered, Bell. Kahaha. The first secretary says some rather interesting things. Diablo could try laughing it off as much as he wanted, but perhaps remembering how things were back then realized there was nothing inherently wrong with what she said. It's possible Hakuro even added. No, guys, it's definitely more natural to believe that. According to Laplace, Yuuki had given orders to Clayman to lie low and not cause trouble. The whole bit with the orcs was one thing, but Clayman's descent into insanity after that wasn't at all what Yuuki wanted from him. Affirmative. Based on the newly obtained information, I have redefined the situation as this. The subject Clayman exhibited some unexplainable behavior, but if he was being influenced by Kondo and other people, it begins to make more sense. The clear answer is that the Empire stood to gain the most from him. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So you're saying that we had to go through that stuff with Clayman because of Kondo's intentions? Watch your mouth, Benimaru, or else I'll tell Shuna. I will. So don't, okay. Ignoring Benimaru and Shion's back and forth. I hate to say it, but I have to agree with Shion. I tried to perform an analysis of his criminal psychology, but there was something unclear about Clayman's behavior. I saw signs that he was in a hurry to move his forces for some reason, even though he should have acted more cautiously. I, at first, thought it was merely his stupidity in action, but it would make sense if there was a third party intervening. Whoa. Diablo's got the same opinion as Raphael. Guess there's no doubting it now. I don't know what the truth is, but let's assume Kondo controlled Clayman and act based on that. If you're paired up with Kondo, be aware of the possibility that he'll try to take over your mind. Yes sir, Rimuru. I might be wasting my time with that warning, but it's better than saying nothing. Anyway, we really do need to watch for this Kondo guy. If we're not careful, he might be an even greater threat than Velgrynd. So I had everyone keep Kondo in mind so we were all prepared. Now, let's summarize our plan. Gabble, I want you and your team to answer King Gazel's requests for help. Don't try fighting Velgrynd, though. She's enough of a danger for you and the other leaders, but she'll massacre your soldiers, probably. That is very clear to me, my lord. Not even I would ever dare to challenge a true dragon. Ho ho ho. No, we're no match for her. Gabble and Hakuro seemed to understand that well enough. The purpose of sending their reinforcements was mainly to buy time. Once we rescued Yuuki, we'd then be handling Velgrynd ourselves. But should we leave them to that ceremony? Ultima asked. She was referring to the dead birthday thing Kigali was working on, I suppose. I wouldn't worry about that, Diablo informed me. It takes a great deal of time before that forbidden spell is triggered, at least 2 hours per Walking Dead created and more than that if you are stuffing more energy into it. It hadn't even been an hour since the ritual began. We first have to meet with Yuuki, then beat Emperor Lidor, and then if we hurried back. Diablo's right if we're talking about the usual procedure, but Lady Kigali's using a kind of workaround. A workaround. Wait. Right, Velgrynd is helping her. Diablo seemed to get what this meant. But no one else did, and we really didn't have time for long-winded explanations any longer. Okay, so how much time do we have? Kahahaha. At worst, they could create several Walking Dead in 2 hours. 2 hours, huh? Could we defeat Emperor Lidor in just that amount of time? No point worrying over it. We just have to do it, and that's that. I looked toward Laplace. And you're the strongest of her creations so far, right? Better than Clayman anyway. And despite the others being geared for strength or whatever, you sure seem stronger than them. Well, I was specially made, is see. Okay. Well, my group's ignoring Kigali's spell, then. Are you sure about that? Gabble seemed surprised. Yeah. Think about it, Gabble. Laplace is pretty strong, but he's not an insurmountable opponent. The other two, I'm sure all of you could beat easily. That was how I saw it. Laplace may be hiding his strength, but he can't fool my eyes. Basically, it didn't feel to me that he had awakened to an ultimate skill. Gabble would have a tough time, but I think Zoe's an even match for him. So if Kigali could create Walking Dead as good as Laplace, that'd be a drag, but anything less than that seemed pretty manageable to me. We can't just leave them be, they could become a threat if left to grow up, but I don't see this as something I absolutely had to intervene in. If Velgrynd is contributing to this spell, then all the better for us. If possible, try to prod her so she can't concentrate on it. If you can't, then you can just leave her. I mean, no point stirring up that hornet's nest. Gabble and Hikaru exchanged a glance, then nodded, seemingly convinced. And also, just in case. If she decides to turn on you guys or King Gazel, then I want Ultima and Carrera to take her on. I figured as the most powerful of all my staff, Ultima and Carrera could buy time even against someone like Velgrynd. I could ignore whatever happened with Kigali's ritual, but if Velgrynd makes a move, the whole army would be decimated. I had to avoid that, so that's why I gave the order. Aw, thanks for counting on us. Servaldora's sister or not, I'm not gonna give her any quarter. Yeah. We'll see if we can win once we feel her out. I got one heck of a winning streak going, you know, so I'm gonna get as much enjoyment out of this as I can. It sounded like I could count on Ultima and Carrera for this. I'll just pretend that I didn't hear about the loss to Zijin. So I thought we had a plan, but... One moment, please. I think Ultima and Carrera alone will not be enough against Lady Velgrynd. I know this is rude of me after offering to guide you, but I was wondering if I could tackle her as well. Now Esterasa was throwing her hat into the ring. This was a bit troublesome to me. It was an appealing proposal, but if we were striking the core of the imperial capital, I wanted to attempt it with as much firepower as I could gather. This was an emperor even Guy recognized as a worthy rival, and he had at least 4 single digits guarding him. If we were taking on someone that high up, I really didn't want to lose Tensura. At the same time, though, if she could buy some time with Velgrynd for us, that'd be pretty helpful as well. So maybe I should take Adora, then. Allow me to take her place, if you could. It will help us buy at least a little bit of time, and I think it would improve our chances. That was Zoe making the offer, and it sounded like a reasonable one. At the very least, it seemed better than taking Adora. With Benimaru, Xion, Zoe, and Diablo, I felt decently sure we could take on pretty much anybody. Okay, let's go with that. Don't disappoint me, Zoe. Yes, my lord. The main purpose of Gabble's team was to buy time and, if possible, eliminate enemy forces, Kondo included. If things went really awry, that was where the demonesses came in. That, I thought, was about the best we could do. Right. That settles it, then. And again, Gabble, don't have your team get killed before we get back. Yes, sir. And so our policy was somewhat hurriedly decided upon. It was at this moment that Vester, who had been watching the screen the whole time, hoarsely shouted out. Whoa. King Gazel has arrived, it looks like. I looked myself, and there I saw the Pegasus Knights flying in from up high. Let's hurry. Rendezvous with Gazel's team before they take damage and tell them about our strategy. Leave it to me. I promise you that I, Gabble, will perform this lofty task with surely the utmost of brilliance. Great. Now, everybody, let's get moving. I gave out the order and then one long night began for us. After teleporting Gabble's group away, we joined Laplace on our way to the imperial capital. I would be taking human form from the start, so I could deal with whatever came our way. Okay, we're here. This is our secret base over in Ah, where's this? It was magic that took us here, but Laplace immediately began acting strange. Even at this point, I was having a terribly bad premonition. Looking around, I found ourselves in a vast hall, like none in my own nation. It was lined with intricately carved columns and covered with expensive-looking carpet. I could almost mistake it for a royal audience chamber in an imperial castle, but there was something not quite right about it. Dude. Well, wait. No. Usually, when I do this thing, it always takes me to the right place. This ain't never happened before. Laplace looked pretty panicky as I glared at him. He didn't seem to be lying, but if he wasn't, what the hell was going on here? After a few more swivels of my head, I saw a raised platform about 50 yards away. Something resembling a king's throne was on it, so I guessed it really was some royal chamber. An important-looking person was seated on the chair, and next to him was a beautiful blue-haired woman. There was no mistaking the distinctive buns her hair was tied into. It had to be Velgrynd herself. Velgrynd. Wait, wasn't she on the battlefield just now? She can't be here, too, can she? Teleportation could get her here in time, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Benimaru looked just as confused as I was, and Zoe and Xion weren't much different. Are we surrounded, then? It appears to be a trap. Diablo broke the bad news to us. I noticed it about the same time he did. Dozens of other people were in this chamber, and they all seemed powerful to me. You, Laplace, you were trying to ensnare us the whole time. Zoe wasted no time confronting our would-be traitor, but he was the last thing on Laplace's mind. That's loony. You interfered with my spell. How's it even possible? Laplace was completely befuddled. Guess he wasn't expecting this either. This didn't strike me as a trap on his part. As we warily eyed the circumstances we were in, a man approached us. Hey Laplace. Thanks so much for coming. I couldn't be happier to see you tricking the demon lord Rimuru and his friends like this. It was Yuuki, dressed in his imperial military uniform and smiling. Go boss. Wait. What's going on? Ahaha. You can quit the act now. Once we get rid of the demon lord in here, we win, right? Yuki's words instantly enraged Xion and Zoe, but Benimaru, and surprisingly Diablo as well, remained calm as they listened to him and Laplace speak. It was impressive to see, actually. You guys believed Laplace, too? Oh, no. I was thinking of running him through once those two let their guards down. Hey. Kahahaha. Well said, Sir Benimaru. Kill before you show any external sign of it. The classic rule. What kind of mafia gang am I running here? There's no classic rule like that in my country. Dumbfounded, I persuaded them to wait and see how things unfolded. At the same time, I tried to appease Zoe and Xion, who were practically oozing with murderous rage.